Hey, what's up, everybody? Thanks for joining me today. This is the I Love Crypto channel. I had some random news that I wanted to share with you guys, as well as some XRP content or news to also share. Um, but before we do anything, I wanted to ask you to hit the like and the subscribe button, as well as the share button, if you were to determine that you found something of value in today's video. So thank you very much for that. It helps a lot and definitely goes a long way. But let's just jump into it here. This is coming from Unusual Whales. They're reporting that the Securities Industry and Financial Markets Association has said that the ICBC, China's largest bank, had been hit by ransomware software, disrupting the U.S. Treasury market. And to further elaborate on this, I wanted to kind of play this video here. So let's watch this. It's about a minute and 29 seconds.
Security world, which is why we're breaking into this interview. So reports say Chinese bank ICBC has been hit by a ransomware attack, and the U.S. Treasury market, as a result of that, has been disrupted. This, according to the Financial Times. We're getting at more right now with Bloomberg's Sonali Basak. Sonali, what do we know?
Listen, we have the Financial Times now reporting that ICBC, one of China's largest banks here, was hit with a ransomware attack. And remember, they're a very significant intermediary in the Treasury market. The SIFMA has told its members that this has been part of the reason here that the system is kind of clogged up, if you will, during that auction that we saw a little bit before. The attack had prevented ICBC, according to the Financial Times, from settling Treasury trades on behalf of other market participants. A large executive at a major bank also telling the paper that such a large party on the fixed income clearing corp creates major concerns, potentially impacting the liquidity of Treasury markets. Now, I don't want to say this type of scenario is like a nightmare here, but it is certainly a bad dream. These are things that people are very concerned about when it comes to big liquid markets, particularly such a critical one to all credit markets in the world, of course, Matt.
Absolutely, Sonali. And on a day when we're already seeing a lot of action in the Treasury market, we'll have to watch this one very closely. Bloomberg's Sonali Basak joining us. We'll continue to track some of those headlines.
So definitely worth bringing to your guys' attention. And if you're in the crypto space or even in the XRP community, just paying attention to geopolitical, geoeconomic events, then this is definitely something to note, or just, pay attention to in general. But I wanted to just read this comment here, kind of further elaborating on that scenario at hand. So let me just read this quickly for you guys, and then we'll get on with it. A ransomware attack on the Industrial and Commercial Bank of China that disrupts the U.S. Treasury market could have some potentially serious consequences. It could disrupt the flow of capital and cause liquidity issues in the Treasury market, which is the largest and most important bond market in the world. This could make it harder and more expensive for the U.S. government to borrow money. It could lead to spikes in treasury yields and increased volatility if trading is disrupted. This could ripple through to other financial markets. If the attack successfully blocks access to important bank accounts and financial data, it could lead to a loss of confidence in the banking system. This could spark fears about the security of money and trigger bank runs. Let me say that again. This could spark fears about the security of money and trigger bank runs or a sell-off in the stock market. As one of the largest banks in the world, an extended disruption at ICBC could lead to wider financial contagion and instability in global markets. This is because it plays a key role in facilitating cross-border payments and trade finance. The attack could reveal vulnerabilities in cyber defense of major financial institutions. This could encourage further attacks aimed at disrupting critical financial infrastructure. It could escalate tensions between the U.S. and China if the attack is perceived to be state-sponsored or indicative of lax cybersecurity in China. This could spill over into threats of financial sanctions. So just something to pay attention to, like I said, because this could just play out in many ways. But let's transfer here to some XRP news. This is coming from James K. Filan. The parties have submitted to Judge Torres a proposed schedule regarding remedies, discovery, and briefing. And I'm going to link this in the description so you can read the actual. You can actually read this for yourself. But to give you some perspective on it, generally, of course, Attorney Fred Rispoli is stating this is all tea leaf reading, but to me, this letter does not have the acerbic tone of most of the previous ones. The parties even agreed on some things. I continue to believe this case is closer to a resolution than SEC is projecting. So there's that take on it, but then somebody posted like an AI summary as well. And let me read that to you, because it's kind of a different take. In essence, while this document doesn't give a direct indication of the likelihood of a settlement, it suggests that both parties are still engaging in the litigation process and are preparing for potential future court proceedings. Settlements can occur at any stage, often resulting from ongoing discussions that may be happening alongside the formal litigation process. It's also possible that this preparation may be part of the strategic positioning to create leverage in settlement negotiations. So it's just hard to say right now, but worth bringing to your attention, and definitely worth paying attention to. This is almost over when you in the grand scheme of things. It could still go to the Supreme Court. I think it will personally. I don't know how this is going to set an industry standard or industry precedent without going to Supreme Court, but time will ultimately tell. Again, I'm going to leave this in the description for you to go over yourself. But I had another post from Wrath Economan yesterday. If you remember yesterday, he was posting that FOMOPay had a Ripple and ODL user had obtained an MSO license in Hong Kong, planning to launch payment remittance services. Well, today he's posting another thing about Flutterwave. And Flutterwave has received a money transmitter license from Malawi for facilitating remittances. Partner Anafric is also active in the country. So just Ripple partners, Ripple users are continuing to do the dirty work or just help with the cause, if you will. So worth bringing to your attention. Again, brought to you by Wrath Economan, and I will post this in the description for you. So this next video is going to be of Steven Narioff, our ETHGATE whistleblower that we've been so patiently waiting and praying for. He's going to be speaking on a Twitter Spaces to more or less a bunch of BTC maxis, Ethereum maxis, and just like Web3 junkies who have drinking the Kool-Aid now for however many years. He's just going to be telling them about ETHGATE and his story, his personal story as far as what he's been going through the last few years, and about his lawsuit he's going to be dropping in December here. It's a 7-minute recording, but it's worth every minute of it to kind of hear him explain himself and put these maxis on game. So please listen. It's worth every minute if you've been following ETHGATE or if you've even heard of ETHGATE. It's definitely worth listening to the full 7 minutes. So here we go.
What are the implications of the fact that it wasn't decentralized? Why? What are the?
The implications are. Let's go back. All right, so let's go back for a second. Let's go back to the ICO. The ICO, I think it's pretty clear at this point. I set it up, okay, and it was perfectly fine, and I had the product narrative, and I set all the pieces in place. Except if you listen to Gary Gensler, he personally has said that Joe Lubin bought 9.5%, and there's no speculative buying that turns it from a product into a security. So now you've got a securities offering.
Right.
Okay, so now when you go into, is it decentralized, is it not decentralized, and you've got people like Lubin and Vitalik going out and telling it's decentralized and there's a public market for it, you're now under the securities laws.
Right.
I'm not going to make an accusation in terms of what laws were broken. Is it securities fraud? Is it market manipulation? Is it what? That's for the lawyers to figure out. But you're no longer in crypto land.
Okay, but so are you insinuating that potentially there's going to be charges against Vitalik and Joe Lubin?
Well, that's up to the DOJ and the SEC. Here's the thing: the SEC claims that they had nothing to do. Just so you guys understand what's going on here. The SEC claimed that I was crazy. They had nothing to do with this. None of this happened. And then I requested all the information that they have on me, which they said they didn't have any. But then by law, they had to tell me they have 14 gigabytes of data on me in just a 5-year period. What the hell is 14 gigabytes if they had nothing to do with my prosecution? That makes sense.
Crickets.
Right?
Okay, so,
I think everybody can
I
figure
hear
that
you,
out.
but I'm just trying to work out.
They can.
I'm trying to unravel the potential implications, because what I've been gathering is that you've been holding a lot of information and you're about to drop a bombshell. I'm just trying to
Are you listening to this maximalist coming to right now?
work out what the collateral damage of the bombshell is going to be.
Well, you've got people that have something that's, actually go back to a lot of people miss the first Hinman speech, and that was the Dow report. The Dow report, for those who don't know, there was a Dow where it was basically, like a venture fund, and people put like 15% of all the ether into the Dow, and then there was a hack, and there's questions about whether or not the hack was an inside job or not.
It was.
Let's put that aside for a second. But you've got securities violations there, and Hinman papered that over with the Dow report, which doesn't make sense because he said basically they're grandfathered in 2016, 2017, but then he goes after Ripple in 2013. Like, that's completely inconsistent. Those are inconsistent positions.
Steve, you also said something like that they fabricated or they created a fake case against you.
Absolutely.
If I remember reading the details of your case, wasn't your case an extortion case against that was laid by a project?
Yeah, that project was a setup. That project is called Storm X, for everybody to know. Simon Yu is the CEO. Ari Yu was the president. The whole thing was a setup. And when did it start? May of 2017, the same month that Hinman got there.
Wow.
And that co-conspirator, everybody's. Go ahead.
And why do you think they went against you? Why do you think? Who do you think went against you, and why?
If you're an XRP community member or have been following ETHGATE for the last however many years now, you know the answer to this question.
Oh, so we have proof. We got into the government's documents. We have proof, and my attorney's on here. I don't know if he can speak or not. Mike Scotto, if we can put him into speak mode. But we found proof. This is unprecedented. We found proof that the SEC, the FBI, and the DOJ fabricated the evidence, literally fabricated it. Like, there were documents that we found on FBI letterhead that I had nothing to do with. I never even knew existed. And those were the documents they prosecuted me on. There was no crime. The crime never happened. The discredit, so I'm going to be very clear. The discrediting and the prosecution was to take me out because I'm the only person who could reveal this whole ETHGATE saga and what they did, and they're working with Hinman that to get themselves this regulatory pass, because the regulatory pass is not valid.
Right.
And Steve, when are you going to drop this? Because we need to wrap soon, and I see Dave Weisberg has got his hand up. So just when are you going to drop all this information?
That's up to, that's what's the frustrating part, is that it's kind of up to my attorneys. I'm going to be dropping the recording of the restructuring very shortly. I will tell you, I have the attorneys that I have are people that their names that everybody on this call knows. They're luminaries, they're like the top of the industry. So I'm anticipating in December where we'll be filing it and all the proof will be there. But there will be some major press about this before the end of this month. that will expose all of this. Except it won't happen necessarily.
Ryan, should we drop the recording, Ryan, on a space? How long is the recording for, Stephen?
Long.
How long is the recording for, Stephen?
Almost 3 hours. 3 hours.
Cool. We'll do 3 hour space.
And it comes with a transcript too.
Dave, I see your hands up. Your hand's been up for a while.
In fact, Mario, I'll tell you what. I'll send it. Just so I'll send it to you, and you can take a look at it first, and then if you want, we can just talk about it on other spaces.
I'll check. Ran, what do you think?
I mean, I know, both of you, of course, both of you.
Cool.
So you get the gist. And if you've been following ETHGATE, that should, give you a chubby. That should really make you excited. But before I get out of here today, really quick, I want to say thanks to Stephen Nerioff. Even though he's probably never going to hear this, it just takes big balls for him to do what he's doing right now, and we have been patiently waiting and praying for an ETHGATE whistleblower. So we're super grateful that you're helping us and doing the right thing in general, Stephen. But before we get out of here, I wanted to share this picture here of Rosie Rios and Janet Yellen. If this just doesn't paint a picture, I don't know what does. But concerning all of this lawsuit stuff, I think you kind of get the picture. This is what I wanted to... Rose? Yay. Okay. But yeah, I hope you guys have a good day. Thanks for stopping by, hearing me out, watching the video. If you found anything of value, like I said, please share and like the video. Have a good one. Until the next one. Later.